Welcome to This is Random. I am Téh.
And I'm Adri.
And today we are going to be discussing adulting.
Yay.
I love your enthusiasm.
You can hear it, right?
Yeah. So Adri and I are very well into our 20s.
Yep.
Very well. Very well. Closer to 30 than 20. So you would think we should have this adulting thing figured out by now.
The only thing I figured out is nobody has it figured out. And I think that's what we all collectively know together as adults.
I think that is the true meaning of adulting.
Not knowing and just
figuring, because they say that you never truly know what it is you're doing.
Yeah.
Like right now, I just had this, I've kind of always known, but I just recently had this like epiphany. I am practically at the age that my mom had, I think either was pregnant or had already had my sister. So I am at the age where my mother was on her way to having two kids. I am now at that age.
Well, I am at that age where my mom already had me. She got married, got separated, and she still has me. That's so weird. Wow.
And can you imagine right now pretty much being in her shoes, because you said you're now at that age where she had went through that in her life.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that for yourself now?
No.
Exactly.
What? It's a total different, it's different.
It's weird.
I think it's more with the generation. Mm-hmm. Like back then there wasn't much, I guess.
I mean, you always see these articles where it's just millennials are not having kids. Millennials just do not want kids.
I mean, the world is already overpopulated. We could just take some of those kids and just help them grow up.
At some point, the world needs to get repopulated.
And they will.
Are we going to save that for Gen Z to do? Let them repopulate that?
Yeah, they got it. We've been traumatized enough by the last generation.
Millennials are just trying to buy a house at this point.
If we can. Because as you know, the economy sucks. Not our fault.
I am waiting for the housing market to crash. Just enough to buy a house with little money I have. I'm waiting for it. And then living in New York. Oh. Imagine buying a house. Forget about it. See, because my thing is this. I think right now in my life, I want to stay in New York to live because I can't see myself
anywhere else.
Yeah, because
I get it.
I spoke to this guy a while ago about it, and he was saying how he used to live in all these other cities. And I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, if I was to leave New York, I know I probably would feel more comfortable, especially now at the stage of my life that I'm in. I want to live in another city environment. So say if I was going to go to Chicago or LA or Houston, and I just don't think it makes sense to leave New York to live in another city that's probably going to be very similar to New York anyway.
When I was younger.
When you were not adulting.
Yeah, when I was not adulting. I actually imagined myself when I would be grown and an adult. I would move to San Francisco.
Why San Francisco?
Charmed.
Ah.
Yeah. Moved to San Francisco. And then I Googled the housing market. Bro, that shit is expensive. So I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I would be able to pay for all of that and work there. And then I found out they have earthquakes in California. And I was like, ooh.
See, I kind of want to stay on the East Coast just for the fact that I feel like we get a little bit of every type of weather that there is. We get the snow, we get the heat, we get a good mixture of both when it comes to spring and fall. That's why I probably would stay on the East Coast, for right now. And that's the thing though, eventually I do know I want to live in a more suburban, quiet kind of area. It's just New York doesn't have a lot of that unless you're going to, say, Long Island. And Long Island's taxes are crazy high for no reason really, because their houses are kind of cheaply made too.
We never know. Sometime, maybe in 2 years, 5 years, we'll just decide to go somewhere else, do something else. We'll figure it out. So basically, right now we're adulting while talking about adulting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have responsibilities
Responsibilities.
and all that great stuff.
And all that stuff. All that great, great stuff.
Gotta make our own appointments.
Make our own appointments.
You look so shocked when I say that.
I know.
Like, you don't make your own
I just
appointments?
realized I do make my own appointments. I get so scared to call.
I do too.
I dial the number and I build up the courage. I'm like, okay, I have to breathe.
I've been like avoiding. There's so many appointments I have to make, and I've been like avoiding it just so I don't have to answer specifically questions regarding like healthcare and medical insurance, because there's certain questions that they ask you that I'm not 100% sure that I know. And my mom is always kind of like, oh, just read what's over on the card. Like, they're going to ask you about what's on the card. And they don't sometimes. And I remember one time specifically, I was calling something to change my like medical insurance, and I had them on speaker, and then I had my mom like next to me. So while I'm on speaker with them, pretty much like they're asking me my questions, I'm kind of like waiting for her to tell me because I don't know. And it gets to a point where they were like, is someone else with you? So I'm like, yeah. And they're like, can you just put her on the phone?
They treated you like a kid.
And I was like, you know what? That is perfectly fine with me at that moment. I'm okay with that. You can handle it, mother.
My mom doesn't really know much. No, I would have to make the appointments. I think I'm used to it now where I know I have to do it, so I'm gonna do it. I put it in my planner to call. I put the number, and then I get everything I need, and I lay it out, and then I do like that minute to collect myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. This is it. I can't not do it.
You have to do it.
And I do it, and then it's more of the person on the other end, because of my voice, it sounds childish or not my age. They don't take me as,
they assume you're younger than you probably are.
So they don't take me that seriously. And I have a specific temper attitude towards other people who I don't know, which is I'm polite. I'm not nice, I'm not friendly, I'm just polite. So I'm not gonna be one of those people who start yelling at them like, oh my god, don't blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, but that's not what it said though. They're like, oh no, and oh, okay, thank you, have a nice day. I just give up. I just give up. And then I would vent to my friend, and they would, why did you not say anything? She,
I don't know.
I get so frustrated, and I just give up on the entire thing. It is whatever.
Like, my fear with, say, calling and appointments and stuff like that is that they'll ask me something I don't know. Like I said, my mom will be like, oh, everything's there for you. They're just going to ask you about this. And then until they don't ask you about that, and it's just like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. And now I'm thrown for a loop, and I'm freaking out. My anxiety is already high as hell. Now I'm just contemplating just hanging up the phone. And I've done that like mid phone call, just hang up the phone and then redialing and starting all over again.
Whatever works for you.
It doesn't. I mean, it gets done eventually. It's just longer than it really should.
Yeah, I get that. It's like I had to deal with Spectrum. So my bill for Spectrum is really high, like insanely high. And I call them, and I had to tell the lady, I asked her, I'm like, why is it so high? It's like, oh, it's because in your area, that's the price. And I was like, is there anything cheaper? She's like, oh, you could get the package with TV and Wi-Fi. I'm like, I don't need cable. miss? She's like, oh no, we have a stream, they have a TV streaming service. I have streaming services. I don't need another one. Thank you. However, I do need you to lower my bill. She was like, no, can't do that, yada yada. And then I just say, okay, what else am I gonna do? I can't have her change it because she's not gonna change it. So I gave up. I called my friend and he lives not too far away, and he said he got his bill came up to the same as mine, and he called them, and the guy said, oh, okay, sorry about that, and lowered his price. I'm like, oh, so I have to also be a man? Okay.
I was gonna say, like, do you think the reason why so the person you were talking to, was she a female?
Yeah, I was a female.
Do you think one of the reasons is because, like you said, because of your voice?
Yeah.
She probably didn't take you seriously.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of
like oomph.
I need more oomph.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could only take me seriously if you look at my face when I'm upset. Other than that, you're not gonna know. It's just the way it is. It's whatever. I'm dealing with that in my adulting phase. I will accomplish that someday. Someday.
Not today, though.
Not today, though.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is a moment that you realize you were no longer quote unquote young?
Wait,
can I just like preface this to say that I am 26, you're 27. That's not old in my eyes.
It's not.
It's not. We had this conversation where, 30 is now the new 20. Everyone hypes up everyone hypes up their 30s now, from what I'm seeing. Even I was speaking to a friend of mine who happens to be in their 30s, and she was like, yeah, like, your 30s are it. No one who gives a fuck about your 20s anymore. It's all about 30s.
Maybe when you turn 30, then you start saying that, but in your 20s or in your teens, being in your 20s is it, especially like in America, because when you're 21 you can do certain things. Basically, you could drink. When you're 21 you could drink, and that is what most people do.
That's the only thing they really look forward to when it comes to their 20s.
Right. So maybe because of like the age, like it's like a like a stairs. Yeah, so you look forward to the next stairs the higher you get. So the other stairs look better. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I was thinking more of it in the sense where, no, I get what you mean. It's like you're always looking forward to that next stage in your life.
Yeah.
I was thinking more about it in the sense where it's like your 30s are kind of more like a settled 20s. Because 20s are really about the time of which you're starting working towards a career, if that's what you're doing. You're graduating college, you're starting your technical adult life, and you're still figuring things out. While I guess the theory is that in your 30s, you're already settled into the struggle that you had in your 20s.
Yeah.
So now that you're settled and you have all this knowledge, it's more of like a smooth ride.
Yeah,
and then
basically.
From like, say, like 40 up, it's just more so like you're going into retirement eventually and just settling until you get to that point.
It's
but
like,
the 30s are pretty much just where it's like you already know what you want, you already have it set, so just sit back and enjoy the ride.
I mean, some people don't even know what they want, and that's perfectly fine too.
That's true. But going back to the question, because kind of went off topic a bit. Yeah, so when did you kind of realize, I guess, you were no longer, again, quote unquote, young?
I have no idea. I think it was when I had to start paying bills.
Or I doubt it, but I know some people do. But do you remember like the first bill you've had to pay?
My phone bill. But I didn't see that as a step, like, as me no longer
like
being an adult.
Yeah.
I saw that as, okay, that makes sense. It's my phone. I have to pay for it.
Of course.
So, I still have no idea. I don't consider myself no longer younger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still young. You know, I'm still a baby.
You sound like you're having like an anxiety attack. Like, I'm still young.
I don't see myself as not younger. When I first like turned 21 and I wanted to go out, I already made negotiated with my mom when I was in my teens that once I turned 21, I should be able to go out with my friends, stay out late, come back home. I got my piercing because I was 21, and oh, I think that was it.
When you got like your
When I
piercing
when I
without
got
any
my
sort of
first,
permission.
yeah, I asked her when I was younger, when I was in high school, if I could get my second ears pierced, and she said no. When she was 19 is when she got her first one, and I can't get it until I'm older. So I said, okay, fine. When I'm older, I'm gonna get a piercing. And she was like, oh, sure, when you're older, you could do whatever you want. I'm like, okay, fine, you said it. So I turned 21 and I was out with my other two friends and we decided we were gonna go get piercing. I was trying to decide where I was gonna get mine. So I was thinking either my nose, my belly button, or the second, right? And they had I went first because I'm a flight risk. I don't like taking the chance on life
Like you
apparently.
rather just get over it.
Yeah. If not, I was gonna say no, change my mind about the whole thing. So I went first and I chose my belly button. I came home and she did not like that. She did not like it at all. And
But you're an adult.
I'm an adult. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm an adult. You?
I think it was there was all right, so I used to do this program called SYEP, Summer Youth Employment Program. So it pretty much it works for people ages like 14 to all the way to 24 actually, that they give them summer jobs. So I actually got my first job with that program, or like right out of high school. So I think there was a moment where my mom had came with me, I guess, like the interview process and like to give in the paperwork and stuff like that, and they would not acknowledge her. They were pretty much like, oh no, we want to talk to you, like you need to do this. And there was a moment where one of the interview people, like staff members, as like a joke, she was just kind of like, she's like, you're grown, you could take care of yourself, like you don't need your mom here. And I was like, just laughing, like, yeah, I'm just like a giant energy ball of anxiety. So I'm just like, yeah. I kind of like, the thing is, I kind of took offense to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that I could do it myself. And the issue, and it wasn't as if like I needed my mom there for support, because I really didn't need her there. I'm just giving him paperwork and everything. She was more so there in the case of if there's, I guess you could say support, like certain things like I just didn't know how to answer, like technicalities and stuff like that with employment process, like filing for taxes and stuff like that. That's why she was there. But the staff member, she kind of was like, no, you can fill out this yourself. You can just read through it and just do it all yourself. And that's when I kind of realized like, there's things needed in the adult world, specifically paperwork, and I'm expected to know every little thing about it.
I don't think you're expected to know every little thing. I think it's more of if you know it, great. If you don't know it, you should ask.
But I think, again, this is me with my anxiety,
Yeah.
is I put all this pressure on myself where it's like I have to know it. So when it comes to things like that, I'm just like, you're old enough to know this. You should know this. There's plenty of people your age and some even a bit younger that should know how to do this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the suckish part about adulting, specifically because we're, again, in our 20s. The ages between, like, say, 18 to, like, 28-ish or whatever, like, so that 10-year gap. There's this big pressure, I feel like, where it's like either you know it or you don't. And if you don't, you're fucked up.
Oh. Oh, I didn't know that.
Like, think of it this way: when parents kick their kids out at 18, like those parents. They're like, you're 18,
Teen.
you can get a job, you can get out this house. I think that is so fucking wrong. I don't understand why parents do that. And then I feel like, specifically America, because we live here, they push that narrative so hard. And I don't understand, like, we were 18 once. Can you imagine our parents just like kicking us out?
I tell my mom I'm leaving all the time. She like, okay, go. I'm like, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
But that's the thing, though. That
that's
was like
joking,
that
like
was a
thing.
choice that you yourself was going to make.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like parents that already have it set in
yeah,
place. They tell, and it's like they say it as a joke, but there's underlying truth of it. Or even when people like joke, like, I just have to have this kid technically for 18 years, their years for 18 years. And it's just, I don't understand why.
yeah. I can't answer that. But if anybody else can answer that go ahead.
That's true. If anyone had that experience where they themselves were expected to pretty much live a fully adult life at the age of 18,
Or
what was your
like
experience
like
like?
18 or 21.
Yeah, because even I feel 21 is pretty young too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it needs to be more normalized of being in your 20s and still living with your family. And I'm not saying living off your family, because I feel like there's a difference between living
Yeah.
with them and living off of them. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could still live with them.
Help them pay bills and stuff
Exactly.
instead of just being there and not paying anything but your own stuff.
Exactly. Like, that's where I feel like the issue is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like if that's the issue, then word it that way or say it that way. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Because it sucks
Yeah. It sucks. Everything sucks. Everything sucks real hard.
real hard.
Read hard. Real hard.
I kind of mentioned earlier with being an adult is the difference between having a career and a job.
One is something you love to do, and the other thing is just a means to an end. At least that's the way I see it.
That's an interesting way to say it. I like the job one. I agree with. It's just something for that moment. I've always defined career, the difference like between the two. Job is more so like a right now kind of thing, while a career is something long term.
I see it different.
Yeah.
I see it. You could have a job for long term. However, if you don't love it or you don't like getting up in the morning to do it, then it's gonna still be a job. However, if you get up in the morning and it's something you love doing and it's something you see yourself doing for a long time, then that's a career.
But what if it's like you like your job, but you just don't see yourself doing it for long?
Then it's just a job.
So if you hate it, it's a job. But
Yeah.
if you love it, it's a job?
If you love it, it's a career.
That's what I said though. Like, what if you love the
It's like
job? But
long term. So you have to love it and it has to be like something you see yourself doing in the long run.
okay.
So you could have like, actually I'm gonna change that. You could have multiple career. You could change career. You could love it and it could be like a short thing and you could change it to something else that you also love. But if you don't love it, then it's a job. It's like when your parents give you chores when you were younger and you're like, "Oh man, I got to do this. I got to do that." That was just a job. It was a chore that you just had to do because somebody else told you to do it. It's not something you got up and love doing. If you actually love cleaning, then it wouldn't be a chore. It's just something that you do because you love doing it and nobody told you to do it.
Do you feel like you know what, I guess, career choice you want?
Um, I have an idea of what I want to do. Would it be a career? I don't know. I have to do it first. Like, I want to open a foster home for teenage kids, like a group home.
Okay.
So I have to do it first to see if I would actually like it. So I would get a job in that field to see if I love it to turn it into a career. So I guess you don't see it that way.
No, I do. Like I said, I just my focus with career, because your whole thing is with career is, I guess your main priority with career is it has to be something you love. Like
Yeah.
long term, yeah, but there has to be a love of it.
Yeah.
I would assume like if you're gonna do it long term, you're gonna love it, or you should love it if you see yourself doing it long term regardless. But I
I mean,
also feel like with jobs, you can love it. Like I've had jobs where I've only had like one job I actually enjoyed, but you can have jobs that you enjoy and that you like, but is it something you could see yourself settling into long term? It just might not be practical for you. Like my whole thing is more so the longevity of how long you're at that spot rather than your emotional ties behind it.
okay, so do you see if somebody is at a job, say Walmart, right? They've been working there since they were 18 and they're 35, I guess. And they moved up in the chain and now they're a manager or supervisor, whatever, and they've been there for that long. Do you see that as a career or a job?
Did they choose to stay there or?
They're there. They just haven't thought about going anywhere else. Not that they don't want to, they just haven't thought about it. They get up in the morning and they hate it. They don't want to go to work, but they don't look for anything else.
But so
Now,
they're at there and they graduate, like throughout the years they move up.
yeah, they moved up and they just stayed there. Like they didn't think about leaving. Like maybe they thought about it, they just didn't do anything towards it.
I get what you mean. Well, at that point, I think at that point, I feel like it's a career. If that's something you're putting your time and effort and you're there for that long to the point where you're moving up in the ranks, and say, assuming they keep moving up to the point where they're all the way within like Walmart headquarters.
No, you're
No, they're
thinking
just
too high.
within like the highest they go is like say managerial.
Manager supervisor. They don't go in headquarters.
Okay. Well, at that, all
Headquarters
right.
is
Okay.
is
Okay. Okay.
for
Okay. Okay. So I think at that point, then, yeah, again, it's a career. That's what you're sticking to. Like I said, as far as like emotional ties of whether or not you like it, I just feel like that should be common sense not to go into something long term that you don't
yeah,
love.
but
Unless there's like outside sources, like maybe you cannot financially afford to go into what you love, then those are other factors that will have to be taken into consideration. But I'm just talking within the general state of career versus job.
no, I still think you have to love it. Yeah. I mean, we are both entitled to different opinions, so it's fine. I think love and longevity, and you just think longevity.
No, I guess within the definition, I think you should
Yeah.
love it, but I just think that shouldn't even be something that should be common sense. Why would you stay something again unless there is specific outside factors? Common sense would tell you not to stay somewhere that you don't love. But I'm saying in the general sense where we all have that freedom to move from job to job, then I just feel like it should be common sense not to stay where you hate it. That's just detrimental on your mental health in itself. And it's like, why would you do that to yourself unless you're some kind of masochist?
What if I am?
Then you shouldn't complain because you enjoy the pain. That's the whole point of masochism. Then there's nothing to complain about.
Because I love the pain. I
Yeah.
stayed.
You love the mental drain of this job. So it's just like, so at that point, then yes, a career. You hate the job, but you love the mental strain it gives
Yeah.
you. Oh,
Oh
man.
man.
I think for me, as far as a career versus job, I don't know what I want for a career, but I think that's because I recently come to the realization I have no passion. So you can laugh.
I don't want to.
I know it's sad, but I've come to the it's okay. I've come to the realization I don't have any real passion for anything. And I mean that in the sense where it's like I'm again way into my 20s and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
And that's perfectly fine.
And
You
it's
might
like,
find it tomorrow.
I don't think I will, because for you to find it tomorrow, I feel like you should have some kind of interest. Like you had like, all right, here's how I see. This is my opinion, how I see it. For tomorrow, you find something you want to do for the rest of your life. There's a reason behind it. There's something you care about enough that would lead you to that choice. I don't care about anything enough. The way you're looking at me, I mean that in the sense where I remember as a child, they would constantly ask or like draw it out. What do you want to do when you grow up? And everyone would say like, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I want to be president. And I could not answer. And I've come to the realization that I don't want to work.
When I was younger, my option changed a lot.
I don't have, no, you're not getting,
Like,
I don't have.
I know what you mean. You don't have any at all. But when I say you could find it tomorrow, I mean you might actually find something that you haven't done before. You might do it tomorrow and realize that you want to do that. Maybe you won't realize it tomorrow, but you might realize it the day after. Or basically what I'm trying to say is you don't know what the future have in stores for you. That's why.
That is true, but I also feel like this literally sounds like I'm just making up an excuse, but I'm very self-aware. Sometimes I feel a bit too self-aware for my personal own good, where I know myself to the point where I know how unlikely that is. And I feel like I need to like explain the whole I don't want to work thing, because I've had this conversation with other people, and it's always like, what do you mean you don't want to work? Or I'm never going to work. And that's not to say I will never work.
Yeah.
Because I understand how the labor works. I understand why I have to work, and I will.
That reminds me of is that thing that's going around on like Instagram and TikTok where it's like, I do not have a dream
Exactly.
job.
That's literally where I came to this realized epiphany about myself. It was like this
I
thing, I do not dream of labor.
labor.
I saw that. The thing is, I've always felt this about myself for years. Again, like since I was a child.
Yeah.
But I could never put it into like a
Words.
sentence or words until I saw that TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's literally what it is. Again, I know I have to work. I
Right.
will work. I will get a job. I will eventually, hopefully, find a career.
Right.
However, I've come to the realization that I don't want to do anything.
You don't want to do anything. You know what?
No, wait.
No, it's fine if you don't
No,
want
but that's not what I'm
to
trying
work.
to. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is I want to find things I want to do. Because I've said, again, I've explained this to people, and they're kind of also like, or like you said, like you'll find a passion you want to do and you'll make that your career choice. I don't want to do that. Like, let's say this. So I draw and I paint. I'm into art. And I've been told that, you should sell your art or turn it into commissions. I don't want to do that. I don't want to turn something I'm passionate about into work or involve money in it. And if I do, I don't want to make it my primary source of income.
Right.
Because I find work to be extremely stressful, no matter whether or not I love it or not. That's why I don't believe in the whole do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life kind of phrase. Because for me personally, I find work and involving money and thinking about income and how this whatever it is going to help me survive very stressful. I don't want to taint what I love doing
into
with
that
thought.
stress.
Exactly. So
yeah, I get it. It's like I like sewing. I like making dress or skirts or shirts or whatever, and I was told to, make it and then sell it, but that didn't make me feel like doing it anymore. I looked at my machine and I'm like, now it turned into a job.
because now it turns it's something like you have to do, not something you want to
do. I like getting up in the morning, the sun is shining, and I get like that inspiration to do something. Or I'm watching TV and I see like a dress or a skirt and I look at it and I see how to make it and I get up and I go look if I have a fabric close to it and just make it. But once money is attached to it, I no longer wanted to do it. So I get it.
But I don't know. I just kind of feel like I'm getting, because specifically because of my age, where it's like I have to make a choice.
I don't think so.
You don't. And honestly, I feel like the realization of it is you really don't know anything as an adult. So to put the pressure on myself to have this expectation, you need to have a career choice, or at least what you want to do like by now.
Yeah.
You know, it's somewhat unrealistic.
Yeah.
And as we said several times, it sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
Hard. It sucks hard.
Hard. But yeah, I just think that as far as labor and working, I do it because I have to. Like, that's the realization of it for me, is when it comes to working, finding work, I do it because I have to. I'm just selective to the point where I do it. If I'm going to work, I want it to at least be something that I'm not miserable in. Yeah. But do I want to submit myself? This sounds so political and ranty, but do I want to submit myself to, I guess, the labor market and to capitalism? No. I guess that's the main thing I don't want to do. But again, it's not like I don't want to I want to just lay in bed all day.
Right.
Because I want to do things. I have things I want to challenge myself and put myself through. And I do want to find ways to make money. Honestly, if I can literally just do whatever I want and I'm not, I guess, tying another boss ahead of me for it. I'm not working for anyone. Like, say, if I could just make money just going to the gym and just doing what I do, or I make money literally just going grocery shopping, but I don't have it in the back of my head that it's a job. It's just there is money filling up my bank account. I would do that. I think that's my dream. To just live my life doing whatever I want and just have money constantly filling up my bank account without me having to think about it. That's what I want to do. That's my, I guess, dream job. But once again, because I feel like I have to clarify this because people don't understand or they choose not to, I will work. I have worked and I will continue to work because society has put that in place where you have to.
Right.
And honestly, I'm one person. I don't have a choice but to follow that. I can't just change capitalism just like that. You know what I mean? It's not going to change overnight.
I mean, you can change countries.
Yeah, but that's just the way the world works. The world is a slave to capitalism, not just this country. This country is just rules it. So again, I am going to work. I have worked. I do work. And I understand why I have to. Do I want to? No. Do I? And it's like, I feel like I have a right not to want to. I don't understand why people is like, you have to want to work. And I feel like there's nothing wrong to want that.
There's nothing wrong. A lot of people actually want that. I want that.
Yeah.
But I also want to do things.
I just don't want to have to do it because I'm told to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get that.
That's where I think my feelings towards that comes in. But
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I guess just to sum up this episode is adulting sucks.
Basically, and it's okay if you haven't figured it out yet because none of us has.
Nobody has. I'm pretty sure if you're listening, your parents haven't figured it out.
No. You can ask them. They don't know what they're doing.
No, they don't. And if they told you they have, they're lying to you.
They are.
Yeah.
They are lying.
They're calling out your parents.
That's right. Right? What? That's what we're doing? Okay.
We're calling out people's parents.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So for next episode, we are going to be talking about our college experience. So, yeah. So we're going to be just talking about how we got through it, how we're currently going through it. Adri is still in college.
I am. Yeah.
So we'll see you guys again for next week's episode. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is Random.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, because I've said it so many times, so you should already know what our at ... is.
It is at this is random _TA.
She took the fun out of it. Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks for listening, guys, to This is Random with Téh and Adri. Okay, bye.